Hi, I'm Emmy Da Costa.
And I'm Frank Da Costa. We've been married for 26 years?
Yes, this August.
Me and Emmy have crossed paths before. So in New York City, we went to the same junior high school together, which was IS 145 Intermediate School 173 in Maspeth, New York. We knew the same mutual friends, but we never really knew each other. We had such a great friend called Dora. Dora was a friend that I hanged out with a lot throughout the school year, and she hung out with her. So one day, Dora invited me to go to her house.
My first impression was,
Wow.
Who is this guy? Because Dora had told me to open a door for her brother. Just kind of like a funny thing to me when I went down there and I was like, who are you? And I was like, where are her brothers? And he's just staring at me like, I'm here to see Dora.
I never heard of you. I never met you. Who are you? I come to Dora's house all the time. I never seen you. And then from there on, we became friends.
Yeah.
We became friends maybe about 2 years prior to dating.
Yep.
And then as we got connected, I started becoming her friend and knowing her. And that's when I met Cecilia, her mom, and I met her brother. And then we started hanging out in her house because her mom was very strict. And her mother rather had other kids at her house. And I think if you've seen the pattern, and we did the same thing with you, with our kids. This was the house where everybody hanged out in versus Emmy letting everybody go out. But anyway, my mom had kicked me out of the house when I was exactly 16 years old. And I went to live with a high school friend of mine, which also was acquaintance friends with Emmy. And it was down the block from Newtown High School. And I guess that was like the lowest part of my life where I had to survive. I had to do everything for money to survive, to make money. I'm not gonna get into the details, but I think Emmy started coming around, and I got introduced to church life, and that's how my life got turned around. And I think that's when God probably said, all right, so now that you did this, you are here, I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys together. It was really weird at the beginning.
Yes, because we were friends, and yeah, even if I found him attractive, or if I may have had like a crush or an interest in him in the beginning, we did go through like different relationships during the time that we were friends. We were there for each other, and it just continued to grow more into a friendship. When he started going to church and inviting me to his church, it was really life-changing for me. Like, I could see the change in him, and I wanted to have that change. And so I think I started seeing him again differently as maybe someone that I could potentially be with.
So at 19 years old, I got an opportunity. I have taken some computer courses and stuff, and I got an opportunity to work for a jewelry company that I worked there for 10 years actually. After that, it was my first real job. It was a jewelry company over at Tedesco Jewelry. It was in Long Island City. Actually, Emmy's dad is the one who referred me and told me about the job. So this is a cool story. I went in there and I get to meet this guy named Frank Tedesco, big Italian guy. And I walk into his office and he goes, "So I hear you want a job. How much you want to make?" And then I'm like, "Well, sir, I need to make at least $250 to support my family." And then he go, $250, that's all you need? And then I'm like, yes, that's all I need. If you could pay me that, I am very happy. That pays my rent and it puts food on my table. I don't want nothing else. I'm not greedy. And I started working. All I had to do was database. All he wanted me was to enter order into the system, process the order. So at this point, I'm already learning Windows 3.1. Windows 95 had just come out. It was a whole computer era. And I'm telling this guy, listen, you guys are so behind with the computer system here. Do you mind if I help you upgrade everything and get you up to date and get you automated? So from that point on, I automated the entire company within a year.
I remember.
From data entry, I became director of operation. And from there on, I stood there for 10 years we made a lot of money there, and God blesses us tremendously.
That really opened doors for us financially to be a little more, to be, very much stable, and give us the opportunity to save and be able to own a home, which is like a dream. I think coming from my mother's side of the family, the very first homeowner, and that they were just over the moon for me, and we were just so happy. Right around that time, I had finished studying, and Joshua had been born, and so the timing was perfect. It was really great. And your dad prospered in that company for many years, but it also took a lot of him as far as time that he invested. And for me, the same, like working at the Kings County DA, the schedule was crazy. I was working with I was basically I was in intake the department, and when I was in the intake department, that meant someone gets arrested and they get processed, they need to go in front of a judge for arraignment, and so we had to process those arrests within 24 hours. Like the paperwork had to be done and ready to go within that 24-hour period, and so it was very fast-paced, very hectic. And had it not been for having Frank, who is supportive, having family to help me care for the kids, like I don't know how it would have turned out.
The responsibility over at the company I was working here was huge. I mean, I was in charge of 250 people, where I had to help with payroll, where I had to help with decision making, where I had to work with the financial institute part of it, where I had to make sure that the orders got out on time. I had to make sure the computer system will work and never went down. So it's like I had to be the first one there and the last one out. One of the biggest challenge that I think we had is, number one, we were very young when we got married. The financial part of it was the struggle part. We actually lived with her mom at her apartment for that first year. Emmy was pregnant immediately with Elijah, and it was an adapt. We had to learn each other. Even though we were friends, now we're friends living together. We build our life of finance together. We work together. Emmy worked until Elijah was 9 months in her belly. Literally to 9 months is when she decided to stop working in Express in New York City in Fifth Avenue. I'm never gonna forget. I had to pick her up every day. And I work with an electrician hanging chandeliers in celebrities' house. By the way, I've been to Mariah Carey's house. Yeah. I've been to Ralph Lauren's house. I've been to Ron Howard's house. Yeah. I've been to so many people's house because I used to be an assistant electrician.
In addition to the challenge of living together, getting to know each other together, and just doing life together, two cultures, like he said, two different cultures mixing and meshing. I think in addition to that, having children very young, and here we are trying to identify and grow, as individuals, and now, raising children, that I think I would say was a challenge as well, just because we needed to be on board we needed to get on the same page, when it came to disciplining, when it came to teaching, when it came to counseling, right? As we're bringing up these boys, what do we want to teach them? What are we passing on? And it's just being married has its own challenges and struggles, and and also great highlights and moments. At the same time, when you're parenting, that just throws another piece into the puzzle. Just because we've been married for 26 years doesn't mean that it was easy, or that it was, as he jokes, we fell in love at first sight. It wasn't like that. It was about just building on in our relationship, spiritually, and as marrying young, a lot of challenges financially, but just not giving up on each other, not removing God from our relationship, because that's what brought us together.
The other biggest challenge that we went through in our lifetime, I think, was moving to Florida. There's a song that Maroon 5 sings, Must Get Out. And that song spoke so much to me. One day I was driving and I blasted that song on my car and I started crying like a baby. And, and because the words of that song, and I made a huge decision to just come to Orlando, find a job. I mean, I literally got a job as a reservationist at the Wyndham. I took it because I couldn't take it anymore. What's the worth for you having a beautiful house, brand new cars in New York, and just having a chaotic life and not leaving? But Emmy didn't want to come. So that was a huge challenge, because how do you separate a family?
2005, there was a lot of there was a lot going on. I had decided to go back to school. Your dad left to Orlando because that's where he felt we needed to be. I remember saying, no, I don't want to put my house for sale. I don't want to leave this comfort. I don't want to leave my family. I had no one coming to Orlando. But there were things that were hurting, and our relationship was hurting. We needed to be more of a family unit, and so this is what happened. I think it was around August. You came down. Your dad was already in Orlando. Making headway for us. Trying to find a house here, and he came down for a wedding. And we went to this wedding, and at the wedding, he said, school's gonna start in Orlando, and the boys need to be there already. And he just kind of took them, and
so I kidnapped my kids.
And yeah, he took them, and then it was like, okay, I guess
we had a 1 week boy bonding. We went to Disney like almost every day, didn't we? Something like that.
Yeah, you guys were living it up.
We ate Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's every night. I think these kids wasn't having, but I did it purposely because I knew they were gonna be like, "Come, relax, mom's not here."
Yeah, I couldn't be without my kids, so of course I followed suit and I came, and it was a fresh start. As your dad said, we needed he wanted a fresh start in every way possible.
One other thing that
we did.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but one other thing that vividly I remember, I'm never going to forget, standing outside watering the lawn at 9:00 at night, and I said to myself, best thing I ever did, because in New York City, 4:00 at night, it's already dark. And the moment it becomes dark, it's just a human mindset that it becomes dark, your day's over. Like, you won't have time for your kids because now your kids are going to bed, food are getting prepared. Like, that's how I used to hate myself, because I knew at 4:00 at night, I didn't leave my office till 7. By the time I came home, it was like I'd enjoy my home. So being in Orlando and watering the grass and looking at my clock, and this was before the kids came, it was in my mom's house, I said 9:00 and it's daylight. This is the life I want. This is what I want, to be able at 9:00 still go in the pool with my kids and see my kids during the daytime. Because during the daytime, you up and running and laughing and smiling, and not into it becomes dark, we start preparing to go to bed and preparing for everything. Yeah. So that's exactly, just for you to kind of understand how life was hectic, that I never got to be part of anything because I didn't get home till 9:00 and the sun went down at 4. So I already felt I lost the whole day. I always tell people, you're talking about American dream, we are the American dream. We live that American dream, that we were able to come here, we're able to go to school, graduate, have college degrees, be able to own business, be able to live a dream that she wants to live.
I think our lives would have been completely different had we stayed in our home countries.
Definitely.
I'm grateful that, our families chose to bring us here, that we came here, and, the way we took advantage of, the opportunities that this country was able to give us. And, we want to be able to but I think what's clear is that you don't shy away from work, though. You know, you have what you want, or you obtain what you want, but that you've got to have that drive of move yourself to action to get these things. A lot of people could just be sitting on great ideas or sitting on great goals, but you've got to bring those to life. You've got to action them.
We made it in America. High five.